What is up, everyone? It is the Alpha J of the Alpha J Show. Now that I've finished Wander Over Yonder, let's continue this week of Disney with Milo Murphy's Law. It is kind of interesting how the cartoon styles in Disney differ from the style that Cartoon Network offers, and even those differ from the style that Nickelodeon offers. And I'd say that Disney offers more of a theatrical, smoother type of cartoon style. Disney, from the three modern shows that I've watched so far, which is Gravity Falls, Wander Over Yonder, and Milo Murphy's Law, seem to have a great eye for storytelling. Yeah, I know, write home about it. Cartoon Network has comedy laid down pat, and Nickelodeon is somewhat in the middle. I could be wrong, I haven't went through the entire Disney lineup just yet, and everything can change, with the newest shows coming out this year. But I really wish I saw this the day it came out. I tend to push Disney aside, and I really should stop doing that. Milo Murphy's Law comes from a famous saying that if it can go wrong, it will go wrong. For this show and a show later down the line, I'll be taking on the pilot. Why? Roughly for the same reasons as Code Lyoko, just in case no one has seen it, or heard of it, to at least get a rough idea of what happens. Now you'll notice that this is your American Dad of the Dan and Jeff Marsh series, as in Milo Murphy's Law takes place in the same universe as Phineas and Ferb, but it has nothing to do with that. So let's get into the pilot. I want to give a huge shout out to these comments right here, and this fan art right here this person drew for me. I greatly appreciate it. And if you've been listening on Twitter, this is one of the new things I'm going to be integrating into my content. So we start off with a kid approaching the bus stop and the other children moving away. So obviously, when one kid asks the other kids move away and encourages this new kid to not approach Milo. This other girl approaches Milo and her name is Melissa. When Milo wants to see if Melissa has seen his new scar, instead of showing Melissa right then and there, he takes a photo and then sends it to Melissa instead. All of this is a very subtle approach to what a character Milo, in story, has crafted himself out to be. Now obviously it doesn't follow Murphy's Law to a T. This character has to win at something, and I do particularly like how nothing is told. Everything is implied as if he would find out soon. Another thing I like that I will explain in depth all throughout this review is Milo himself. Here he is very optimistic, but not optimistic to a point where it's creepy or ignorant like a certain yellow sponge on a certain animation network. So a heavy duty bungee cord for no reason at all comes Milo's way, and Milo straps on a helmet already knowing what may happen.
I bet my pudding pack we don't see them again today.
While those two run away from this, in a parallel line, because why not, the other students make a bet. Apparently, Melissa is the only one who thinks that Milo is going to make it to school in time. And we'll see. Zach wants to know exactly why Milo isn't screaming. I mean, sudden death is a foot or so away, but Milo is very calm here. And it's almost like he's been through this before. In fact, the way he responds generally correlates with something that Phineas or Ferb would say. He has his own vibe and personality that only the crew behind Phineas and Ferb could really pull off. With one attempt being an Indiana Jones-esque way failing, they are now on top of this pipe. We also get to see Milo's dog. This series is Perry the Platypus, except instead of saying "where's Perry," the dog is always there. Just like with Gravity Falls, this episode takes the concept of 2D and makes it this new thing with perspective changes. The art style doesn't seem flat, even though it's 2D technically, so the pipe falls into what appears to be mud.
The J word wouldn't happen to be Jinx, would it?
Alright, so I know I'm late to the party, but let's talk about this incredible theme song. If you haven't heard it, please search it up, it's most likely on YouTube. Just like Phineas and Ferb, this theme song hits the mark for being catchy, slightly mainstream, and appropriate without dumbing down because it's a cartoon aimed for children. I don't even know where to begin with the animation sequence. From the fact that his walking motions go with the beat, to the obvious bad luck happening around him, to his upbeat attitude about the whole thing, this is what a theme song to a cartoon really should be. Every time I hear it, I'm always interested in this sequence. To me, it's flawless. It doesn't say too much, but it doesn't need to. I know I save theme songs generally for the really bad ones like the Pickle and Peanut one, but this one was way too good to pass over. So coming back over to the episode, we are greeted with this sequence in the school bus. Although it is just repeating or emphasizing the bet that Milo may or may not make it to school on time, some of these characters stay fixed looking at a particular person, even when they are looking at another person. That's one problem I hope does not linger throughout the entire series. So because the bus left without them, Milo takes out his GPS, but remember Murphy's Law, his GPS gets messed up in the mud, but he has a backup, a map, which ends up getting snatched by this bird. Remember this bird. So he just goes off of memory, because no one can take that, right? Let's hope.
This has happened before!
This has happened before? This exact thing!
Zach would be great at CinemaSins. Now, after attempting to pass through this rock quarry, remember Murphy's Law, an oil spill completely stops them from going through. And even though Milo has a backup, that same bird with the map manages to catch the map on fire. And if you know anything about oil and fire, they're not getting through this oil spill anytime soon. But they'll go around it into Coyote Forest. Although the dialogue is spot on in many areas, it isn't really spot on in all areas. And although it isn't a big issue here, like I said, I hope it doesn't linger throughout the entire series. I do understand that it's a gag, but again, because of how great and fluid the series of events are, when it comes to Milo's bad luck, sometimes the shots they take aren't 100% going to make it. Zach says that he doesn't have a thing for coyotes, like anyone really does. And when Milo says it's a wolf preserve, he pretends like his wording wouldn't confuse anyone. It is worded that way to fit the joke, but if you have to word it weird to fit it, just throw it out. I'm sure this staff could have cooked up 50 others to replace it. So they run through this coyote forest as wolves chase them. More bad luck happens, but I do want to highlight one specific point. So there is a part where a beehive gets launched up in the air, and you think, man, it's gonna smash them. And then they would have to outrun bees or something. And one problem this series might have, that other series down the line have had, is that the series might get too predictable. If you can predict the bad luck, then that takes away half of the fun of watching an episode like this, because of how formulaic it is. I do like how instead of having the bees crash next to them, they crash on the other side, giving a breather before the wolves attack again. They run and run some more, before falling into this sewer hole.
I just can't handle all of this.
All of what?
This cyclone of calamity that follows you everywhere you go. How do you live like this?
You want to live like those other kids? They took a bus to school today. A bus! Does that seem like more fun to you?
All right.
It's not about fun to Zach. It was about safety. But let's not remind him of that. So they end up in a construction site, the same place where the bungee cord came from, for consistency. And after the pipe that originally got them in this mess finally come into play, it involves high volumes of water, because Murphy's Law. In this process, Melissa, their friend, keeps upping the ante. I wish they showed more moments when it seemed like Milo wasn't gonna make it in time. I will give them slight slack because this is the pilot. Sure, of course, Milo and Zach will make it, but why have the light at the end of the tunnel so clear? When you have the medium of animation, the possibilities are virtually endless. And as they go down this river, the wolf with the bees around him comes back into play, and their dog Dog saves the day. I guess this is how Dog will be used. Always told to go home, but kinda saves the day in a way. I guess that's creative. I hope it doesn't get stale.
But I'm starting to feel like we can handle anything that comes our way. Well, maybe not anything.
So they land on an alien ship, want to know the way to get out? They ask nicely. You know, after watching so many cartoons revolving aliens, alien abductions, it's nice when asking nicely gets you through the day. They do make it in time, and that's Milo, Murphy's Law, going the extra Milo. Although the episode featured quite a bit of running, and there's only so many ways to explain that Milo and Zach ran, pretty much, and Melissa upping the ante on the other side of the episode, it is a very simple but effective pilot. It's very consistent and has few unexpected moments. But what I really want to talk about is Milo. Milo is one of my favorite characters on TV right now. Sure, we have optimistic people like Finn, Steven, Clarence, SpongeBob, and others, but there's a difference. Finn goes on adventures with his best friend. Steven has a loving family in which they go on adventures and usually win. Clarence has an entire school that loves him most of the time, as well as a loving family. And SpongeBob is great at his job, and generally is happy to live life, and has his best friend. What does Milo have? Nothing really. He's a normal kid who has prepared for the day-to-day life of chaos. He's more of an average kid than Timmy, and I mean pre-season 10 Timmy. The fact that he has a smile on his face wherever he goes, and the way he takes on life, is not only a breath of fresh air, but the right way to make an optimistic character. But overall, I'm looking forward to watching Milo Murphy's Law. Just like the show can go wrong, I have full confidence in the staff that it won't go wrong. Thank you so much for watching. I had a lot of fun making this. Let me know what you think of Milo Murphy's Law in the comments below. Do you like the series? Have you watched it yet? And I hope you stick by on this week of Disney. Make sure to follow me at The Alpha J Show on Twitter, or join my Discord. I'm generally pretty active on both, and they're both in the description below. So if you really enjoyed this video, I highly suggest Wander Over Yonder, which should be popping up on the screen. But if you are a bigger fan of Disney than I am, I actually have a playlist of all of the Disney episodes that I have reviewed. Don't forget to subscribe, and consider looking at my Patreon. There's quite a bit of perks there, and any contribution really does help out the channel. Anyways, I hope your time is well spent, and Alpha out.